I see. Okay. Um, okay. So this is what I'm going to do right now, because just in the interest of time, since we're also going live now, treat every last eighth as a quarter note instead.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have the sequence or not. You do, but it's okay. You're doing quarters, and I'll do the quarters with you. Okay. Now at the beginning.
That's all we're gonna do?
Yeah, for the end.
Oh, for the end?
That's the whole song.
That's it?
Instead of going one time through the English and then back to the same,
Oh, okay. So we just
just
do one
I'll do
round.
one time the Hebrew and then come in with the round. Sound good? Thank you.
Okay. You don't want to switch it?
No, because then it's long, too long.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe for the
I
high
think it would
holiday.
be cool to switch it.
Yeah, maybe for the high holiday, just like
Right,
from right
right.
now. And then we'll talk about it in rehearsal.
Yeah, this is different from what we said. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
Which we don't have to do because you guys don't get one. Just in the future, I'll get ready to use that. Sure, that's the right plan for you guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
One
yeah,
of you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Were all the others kosher?
Kosher.
I think so.
I think they're all the same, yeah. They're all the same. Do you have my
I gave
my
you a search word.
tablet, Dan?
Oh yes, yes I do.
This
And I
tablet.
have to be careful because look, I have two versions. This one says in the back. It's like so we're gonna be careful to get rid of that one. I'm gonna say this one is.
So we're just gonna do one through Hebrew, one English.
You're just gonna read through. I'll show you. This one repeats the beginning again.
Ah, I see what you're saying. Which one did I
This one does not repeat the beginning again. Okay, so it just goes all the way through. You just read it all the way through.
Okay.
Because once you get here, he's gonna go to the beginning.
Okay.
And I'm gonna fix the words. I'm done, you'll have to swipe down to.
So how are you?
I am good. How are you?
All right. Nice piano. Do you know that if you try a little bit and use some strength, you can lift up the back of the piano?
Oh, really?
I've done that.
You're silly. That was good.
Bruchim habaim b'shem Adonai. Welcome all of you who come in the name of Adonai. Say Shabbat Shalom to everybody who is here and everybody watching on live stream. It is, as always, a pleasure and a joy to be here together, to see all of your faces, and I know I see all of your faces on the live stream as well in my soul. So we start by singing about how good and how pleasant it really is that all of us are here together. We take time out of our busy lives to reconvene, to reconnect. We sing Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good and how pleasant is it that we are here dwelling together. Page 128. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Yai lai lai. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Yai lai 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 yai lai lai lai. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. To kindle our Shabbat lights, I would like to invite up Evan Tierney, who is actively preparing to become bar mitzvah. And that's on page 120 of your Siddur, if you're following along.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotah v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Yasher koach, Evan. We turn to page 125 in our prayer books. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Let us join together. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. On pages 138 and 139 of our Siddurim, our prayer books, we find a poem written in the 16th century that still speaks to us today, a poem that weekly calls us to welcome in Shabbat as if Shabbat were a bride. We have, again, that weekly wedding that we all attend together. We will share together stanzas 1, 2, 5, and 9, and on the 9th stanza, feel free to rise at that time, face the entrance, and truly welcome in. Boi chala, enter, O bride. Lecha dodi. La 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 la, lecha dodi. Ya la 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 la, likrat kala. Ya la 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 la, panei Shabbat. Panei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zechor b'dibor echad. Hishmi'anu el hamayuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem el tiferet v'lidhila. Yai lai lai, ya la 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 lai lecha dodi. Ya la 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 lai likrat kala. Ya la 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 lai panei Shabbat. Panei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha. Ki mekor habaracha. Merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof maaseh b'machshavat echila. Yai lai lai, ya la 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 lai lecha dodi. Ya la 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 lai likrat kala. Ya la 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 lai panei Shabbat. Panei Shabbat nekavela. Hitoreri, kiva orech kumiori. Shir daberi, kivod Adonai, alayich nigla. Yai lai lai, ya la 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 lai lecha dodi. Ya la 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 lai likrat kala. Ya la 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 lai panei Shabbat. Panei Shabbat nekavela. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala. Gam b'simcha ובצוהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה יאי לי לי יאללה לילה לי לך דודי יאללה לילה לי לקראת כלה יאללה לילה לי פני שבת פני שבת נקבלה. We turn now to page 144 in our prayer books for a bridge that connects us between that joyous welcoming of Shabbat and into the Baruch Hu, which will come, which is our official call to worship. We start with the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah B'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedecho bet Yisrael bagala bagala uv'izman kariv v'yimeru amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'la'lamei almaya yitbarach yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yitadar ve'yitaleh ve'yithalal Shemei dekudasha brichu Laila min kol birchata ve'shirata tushvechata ve'nechemata damiran bi'ama v'imiru amen. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent, it's all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without HaShekhinah, without the presence. We turn to page 146, where we rise for the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam We turn now, we remain standing, to 152 and 153 in our prayer books, where we are reminded to hear Shema, or listen Shema. Let us listen to how, when we all take a moment to be here together, perhaps we can find the essence of echad, of one, that we all are a part of. Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. We continue on page 154 with the chanting of V'ahavta, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all of your might. What do those three things mean? Perhaps we can reflect as we chant together, V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadevarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'aderech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotefot bein einecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti echem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. We turn to page 157, where we continue responsively at the top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together as we turn the page and sing, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, who is like you, O God, among all the gods that are worshipped. We also sing Ze'eli anu v'amru. This is our God, they cried, the Israelites, as they crossed the Sea of Reeds. Can we capture a bit of that joy and relief and letting go that they must have felt in our own singing of Mi Chamocha? Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, Norah dahilo no sefer ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam. Ay ya 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 ya, ya ba ba bim bam. Ay ya 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 ya, ya ba ba bim bam. Mahalchutecha ra'ovanecha, Mokea yam lifne Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Eli anu ve'yamru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Mihi kamocha malim Adonai, Mihi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Lo radahi lo oseh peleh, lo radahi lo oseh. Yam bam bam bim bim bam, ya ba bim bam, ya ba bim bim bam, ya ba bim bam, yai lai la lai lai lai, ya ba bim bam, yai lai ya lai lai lai, ya ba bim bam. We turn now to page 160, where we rejoice with Michamocha, and then we think about Halayla, tonight. We lie down in peace on this Shabbat. We ask God to comfort us, to keep us safe, to spread God's wings and shelter over us. As we sing Hashkivenu, let us try to envision that level of safety and comfort. Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. We turn now to page 162 of our Siddur, where we sing joyously, V'shamru, the people of Israel shall keep Shabbat. It says, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time, a covenant for all of us, a covenant, a brit, that allows us the space to rejoice, to rest, to feel a range of emotions together. We are given that opportunity with Shabbat, and we celebrate it further by singing V'shamru as we keep Shabbat together. Take out those percussion instruments for V'shamru. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל בני ישראל אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat as we do today. We now turn in our prayer books to pages 164 and following as we rise for tefillah. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'Neihem Lema'an Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor leolam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah rav lehoshia, Morid hatal. Mechalchel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim v'rofech olim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar. Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidom elach. Melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, Manora hamakom hazeh, how filled with awe is this place. And we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. We now turn to page 178 of our prayer books. We ask God, with a prayer for peace, with a blessing for peace, the Birkat Shalom, to grant us that peace in all moments, in all seasons. Perhaps one day we will get to that day when there will be peace. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev v'lo yilmadu al milchama, and nation shall not lift up sword against nation. They shall never again learn war. We sing Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov v'nech Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. We turn to page 180, where we will continue with Oseh Shalom. But before we do, this is our moment to be together, but also to perhaps separate ourselves for just a moment for inward reflection, perhaps a practice for Cheshbon HaNefesh on the High Holy Days, and accounting for our own souls. We take a moment to turn inward for quiet reflection before the singing of Oseh Shalom on page 180. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. We now turn in our service to pages 366 and following for Seder Kriyat HaTorah LeShabbat, for the reading of the Torah on Shabbat. And for this joyous part of our service, I would like to invite up Barbara Meyer to open and close the Ark, Mort Rosen, who will carry our Torah. To undress our Torah, we have Joseph and Frankie Covino. And you're all invited up here. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udevar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadlu l'Adonai iti, uneromema shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagidula v'hagivura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hahod. Bashamayim uvaret, Kiko bashamayim uvaret. Adonai hamamlacha behamitnaseh lechol erosh. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'histakavu lehar kosho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'histakavu kosho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'histakavu lehar kosho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'histakavu lehar kosho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'histakavu lehar kosho. Romemu
Adonai Eloheinu
So, in our Chumash, which is the other blue book that you have, if you turn to page 1508, this section begins Parsha Ki Tavo, or when you enter the land. It discusses in our few verses the laws of Bikurim, or first fruits, that are to be brought to the priests, the Kohanim, at the Holy Temple. The giving of the first fruits of labor reminds us that we can dedicate ourselves to a greater purpose, no matter what our labor today might be. For our Aliyah, I would like to call up Ya'amod Yaakov ben David, J. Schoenfeld.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. V'haya ki tavo el haaretz asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha nachala v'rishta v'yashavta ba v'lachachta mereshit kol peri ha'adama asher tavi me'artzecha asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach v'samta vatene v'halachta el hamakom asher yivchar Adonai Elohecha l'shachen shemo sham uvata el hakohen asher yiyeh bayamim hahem ve'amarta elav higadeti hayom l'Adonai Elohecha kivati el haaretz asher nishba Adonai lavotenu latet lanu.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. At this time in our service, we turn to page 371, where we turn our attention toward those in need of our healing. There are people who are struggling, who are suffering, or who just need our positive healing energies directed toward them. There are names that we do know, but I also want to take this Shabbat to recognize that there are indeed those who struggle, who are nameless to us, but have a name. Let us honor them as well. We pray for the health and well-being of Norman Tishfield, Janet Kolajetsky, Bill Wallace, Barbara Marshall, Mark Snyder, Jill Sloan Marcotte, Maureen Wise, Ian Kamen, Terry Augustover, Susan Ritter, Barbara Meyer, Rachel Rivka Bat-Zelda, Donna Newman, Guillaume Pigny, Michelle Rosenberg, Howard Block, Mary Jo Ray, Daniel Lewis, James Rooney, Jennifer Meyer, John Frasca, Ira Berezowski, Sarah Shakora, Anthony Casino, Lindsay Hartman, Lucas Hartman, Dominic Carlucci, Susan Sadens, Nancy Blake, Leah Henry, Danielle Stile, Margaret Schoenfeld, Joan Taylor, Alan Spector, Judy Lesser, Peggy Hooper. We also send our praying energies and healing energies for the servicemen, servicewomen, and service people who have been wounded or injured on behalf of our country. I would now like to welcome you on live stream to add the names of any you may so wish, and in our own sanctuary, starting on this end and moving over, any names you would like to add.
Joseph Shapiro.
We pray for a refuah shlema, a complete and total healing, as we sing on page 371, the Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avoteinu Mikor habracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mikor habracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. This time in our service, we turn to page 370 for Hagba. So I would like to invite up to the bima. Perhaps Frankie and Joseph would like to come dress the Torah as well. Andrea to open and close our ark. And for Hagba, Charles Miller. It's called being voluntold. Vizot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Eitz Chaim hi Lamachazikim ba. Darchei Noam Nechol et Himotecha Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha So the Torah, it's sort of big. It isn't that ergonomically friendly. There are no handles on it. But I believe the Torah is for everyone. I mean that, for every single person. I have heard too many anecdotes to even recall about how the Torah, be it that physical scroll, that Sefer Torah, or the ideas, the commentaries. There's commentaries upon commentaries, and then there are commentaries upon commentaries upon you get the gist. They're often alluded to under the umbrella of the word Torah. These have intimidated many, I have been told, who wish to engage in the Torah's words, its ideas, its breath of life, its ruach, the Torah's soul, its spirit. For many of us here today, the Torah is written in a language that is not necessarily our primary language, if it is one that we speak at all. We have the written Torah, which we call the Torah Shebechtav, and the oral Torah, the Torah Sheba'al Peh. These both exist. The oral Torah is now written down and began with the redaction of the Mishnah and includes the Gemara and the Talmud. There will be a quiz. So this is not to mention the numerous responsa, commentaries from sages and rabbis, the Apocrypha, and so on and so on. I think you get it. To put it simply, for anyone who wishes to embrace Torah, it can seem a bit overwhelming. This whole idea makes me think personally of the story of a man named Sal Litvak. Or have any of you, show of hands maybe, ever heard of the accidental Talmudist? Dan has. So, you can look him up after, he's real. He openly tells the story of how he started studying the Talmud. So Sal Litvak was living in Los Angeles in 2005, and he had received a gift card from a friend for a book and Judaica shop on Pico Boulevard in Los Angeles. He describes having entered this shop before and noticing the encyclopedic volumes of Talmud. He describes how intimidating it was to see so many books taking up so much space. Having had a Jewish education, becoming a bar mitzvah, he still did not feel he might even have the right to touch it. So Sal Litvak a Harvard and NYU law graduate, felt like he was unprepared and possibly unworthy of delving in, and assumed he was probably going to do it wrong. He describes finally and tentatively taking the first volume, or the tractate of the Talmud, which is called Brachot, up to the clerk, a younger guy. He hands it to the clerk. The clerk says, "Oh, are you doing Daf Yomi?" He says, "What?" To make a long story short, Sal Litvak ended up buying the first tractate of the Talmud, Brachot, on the very first day of a cycle that is called Daf Yomi, or a page a day. The reading of one page of Talmud a day. People from all over the globe read the same page together every day. Just to give you some context, to read one page a day of Talmud and complete the entire thing, 1 page a day, complete it, how long do you think that takes? Any guesses? 7.5 years about. It's about right. So a long time. So Sal Litvak, he began exploring Talmud that day. And he started doing it online. And he was joined by people all over the world. He happened to stumble upon it on the day the cycle was starting. Beshert? Maybe. But the fearful and intimidated student became a teacher, as he still to this day is on his second cycle, I believe, and he wrestles with a page a day. So this week, we read Parsha Kitavo when you enter the land. One moment stuck out to me this week that I wanted to share. Moses tells the people of Israel that when they cross the Jordan and enter the promised land, they are to inscribe all the words of Torah on stones as a reminder of all God that is telling them to do. We read this one interesting line that has been examined by our sages and scholars. It says, "You shall inscribe on the stones all the words of this Torah, well clarified." Well clarified, or ba'er hetev. What does well clarified, ba'er hetev mean? Well, according to our great French commentator Rashi, this language implies something unexpected. It does not just mean that a doctor can't write it because it needs to be legible. It does not mean that we need to avoid messy handwriting. This was a simple comment not about legibility, but about accessibility. Rashi says that well clarified meant that the Torah was to be written in the 70 languages that were vastly spoken and read at the time of the Torah's writing. The Torah was meant to be clear and available to anyone in any language who wanted to experience it. Now, am I up here downplaying the importance of learning how to read some biblical Hebrew? I would never do that. But it can open up a whole new world of possibilities when the original text can be read and interpreted. But there is no reason to squash even a spark or a glint of curiosity about our Torah, be it the 5 books of Moses, the prophets, the writings, the Talmud, the Mishnah, or anything else. We, I believe, can jump in. The Torah is written in the language of human beings so that we can enrich our lives. And the beauty of Torah is not just the words, but the conversations, the friendships, the connections, the personal and the communal discoveries that happen in between the black letters of Torah. These are what make our lives so full of meaning. I sincerely believe that every soul here today and not here today has Torah to teach all of us. if we allow fear, intimidation, preconceived notions, even some negative past experiences to color our relationship with Torah moving forward, how much might we be missing out on? As we enter this high holy day season, we are asked to reflect on our relationships with God, with one another. What about Torah? What does Torah even really mean? Is there a connection that can be made that we have not yet encountered? Let us not stand in our own way. And I am not shamelessly plugging Torah study tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. via Zoom. You can find the link online. But it is there for you, as are so many other opportunities in our congregation as well. The only way to receive a Torah be'er hetev, well clarified, is to have it clarified by you. We are told in the Mishnah to turn the Torah over and over, for everything is in it. Everything is in it. You are. I am. But perhaps most importantly, we are. Shabbat Shalom. I would now like to invite up for announcements Andrea Barbakoff.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you for coming tonight so we can pray together as a community. It's wonderful to see everybody here this evening. Please put the rhythm instruments in the basket at the back of the sanctuary on your way into the social hall for the Oneg. Our next service is being held on Friday, September 8th at 6 p.m. If you would like to share news at a service, please fill out the Shabbat Simcha forms that can be found in the lobby. Please save the date. RSVP for okay, I'm going to pronounce this word.
Is it Slichot?
Thank you. Slichot on Saturday, September 9th at 4 p.m. Sisterhood's Welcome Back Brunch. The date and time will be announced as soon as we have it set. Join or renew your Sisterhood membership for $57.84. Stay safe, stay well. Everyone, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Todah. We now turn to page 586 in our Sidurim. For the Aleinu, I would like to invite up whoever would like to come up to open the ark for the Aleinu. If not, I can do it. Evan Tierney.
You got this.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula le'yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem vegor aleinu kichol hamonam vanachnu korim umishtachavim umodim Lifnei Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'nemar V'haya Adonai Lemelech Al Kol Haaretz Bayom Hahu Bayom Hahu Yeh Adonai Echad U'Shemo 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 Echad. You may be seated. We turn now in our prayer books to page 593 for our prayer that precedes the mourner's Kaddish. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades. Its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full, but as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. We remember today the yahrzeits of Gloria Kramer, aunt of Evan Barbakoff, Paul Smilowitz, cousin of Mark Sadens, Charlotte Eisinger, Milton Snyder, father of Mark Snyder, Abraham Gelfand, uncle of Vivian Feldstein, Geza Kalina, Jean Olkin, aunt of Stephen Weitzman, Irving Weber, Martin Sandberg, uncle of Judith Albano, Arthur Siegel, Julian D. Silverman, Ruth Stein Krantzow, Arthur Wayne, Sylvia Porwick, Israel Spira, Ralph Hoffman, father of Diane Zimmerman. We also take the time to remember the 6 million Jewish men, women, children, people, souls who perished in the Holocaust. I open it up to those of you on live stream, and if you would like to add any names in the sanctuary, please feel free to do so at this time as I move from one direction to the other. Please turn in our prayer books to page 598 as we rise together for the mourner's Kaddish. We say together, Yit Gadol v'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, B'Alma Divrach Hirutei v'Yamlich Malchutei, B'Chayechon v'Yomechon u'V'Chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala u'Vizman Kari v'Imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mivorach Leolam u'Lalmei Almaya. Yitbarach v'Yishtabach v'Yitpa'ar v'Yitromam v'Yitnaseh v'Yithadar v'Yitaleh v'Yithalal Shemei Dekudasha Brichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. As long as we remember them, people can never truly die. As we say, Tzeker Tzadik Livracha, may their righteous memories forever be for blessing. Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi said, "A broken heart is not the same as sadness. Sadness occurs when the heart is stone cold and lifeless. On the contrary, there is an unbelievable amount of vitality in a broken heart." As we remember, you may be seated. On page 625, we have the final stanza for our final song of Adon Olam, which is called Biado. We will sing this now. Try to remember the comforting words that end this section. Adonai li v'lo ira, Adonai is with me, I shall not fear. Biado. Biado afkid ruchi, beit ishan ve'yaira. Adonai li v'lo ira, v'imruchi geviati. Adonai li v'lo ira. Biado afkid ruchi, Adonai li v'lo ira, v'imruchi geviati. Adonai li v'lo ira. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichu neka. May God make God's face to shine upon you and always be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May all of you feel God's presence within you always. And may you find that essence of wholeness, of peace, of shalom. Shabbat shalom. Please join us for Kiddush and Motzi. Thank you to Megan and of course to Dan Fogel and Artie for the beautiful music. Toda Rabba, Shabbat Shalom.
I was just. It is.
Right?
It is.
It's very
No, I was
Yiddish.
just accompanying this Azan for this Shabbat thing.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
So that's why it's a
Wait.
cadenza.
Oh, I was gonna say it couldn't have been a Shabbat thing.
No, it was right after Shabbat. Just an
Really?
hour. Yeah. It made me think, like, what am I doing? and he didn't like read any of the music, so I just crossed it all out. And I was like cadenza because he just kind of did it.
You just kept going.